and see what's going on. We have to the top right-hand side of the map our red Terran player representing China. Didn't have the smoothest way through to the playoffs, but he made it nonetheless. This is time. I mean, you consider who he did beat out in the group. Yes, it wasn't pretty. Yes, it was on a 1-3 score. But he did defeat True 2-0. He did defeat... he defeated True 2-0, and he did take a map off alive while losing out to Rogue and also losing out to Bjorn. But Rogue also lost to Bjorn, and he also lost to Alive 0-2, which is why there was a better map score for Time, and hence why he was able to make it through without issue here. So Time, our red Terran player in the top left-hand side, as we have down to the bottom left, our blue Terran player. This, my friends, is Bunny. I don't know what happened to Time's account, actually, because the first games Time played and the other day were kind of really normal and just sort of like, okay, cool. You know, he was playing on his account called Time, and then he disappeared during his break series and came back on this account, and has just never been called Time since. So, I don't know what exactly went down there, but, yeah, well, I guess we'll figure it out over time, right? I guess we shall see. So again, should be some really fun matches today. Should be some good stuff. Excited to see what's going to happen as we do get this underway. Well, that's going to drop down the Reaper in the bottom left side, and the factory will come down to both players going to mirror each other to get started here in this TvT. Factory coming up from Time as well, as we kind of somewhat expected, so no surprises just yet. Nice and regular to get going here, as we do indeed kick off into... Again, this has been a great tournament, by the way. I've really loved this one. We've not done yet. Obviously, we've got the playoffs today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but it has been a lot of fun, and it's been really, really awesome to cast for you guys. So I hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. Yeah, let's just have a great set of playoffs. We'll be casting as, I mean, we'll cast pretty much all of the playoffs, I would imagine. Even the matches that get played tomorrow, we'll cast on another day. So yeah, we'll grab those. Maybe we'll cast them at the start of the European server matches or something, or I don't know. Anyways, that's what's going on. 47ers with the 23-month resub. Thank you so much. Almost 2 years, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tree looking super lit. Hell yeah, man. It is covered in rift blushes. It is covered in decorations. It's pretty awesome, honestly. It's, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. And the 1,000 bits as well. 47ers, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. Can you get some love in the chat for 47ers? As you see, Reapers and the Hellion going up against each other, so... Well, it's actually a really cool fight, because these Reapers are getting so low. He really wants this one, because it's super low on HP. It will just hide here. Oh, the grenade bounces it back into the Hellion. Time with the plays, and he wins the fight in the middle of the map. Very well done there. Takes down two Reapers and a Hellion for just one Reaper. Needs to be careful moving forwards, though, because now his own Hellion obviously is going to be in some trouble. It was bruised and battered in that fight, so does need to just be a little bit careful with that, but does get out of there as Time winning that micro war. Very, very nicely done. Yeah, 47ers, thank you so much. I know you're already on the tree, so we do have the general rule of not adding people twice, because I know you were one of the first people up on the tree, actually. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the sub. Can't believe it. Nearly 2 years, dude. Thank you. Well, as we get time going here, we've got a couple of Marines, Cyclone, Viking. We are lagging just a little bit here, guys. Korean server is not always our best friend, so I do apologize ahead of time for that, as we have a Liberator, Reaper, and a Hellion just hanging around and looking to try and see what they can do. Moving across the map, a Cyclone starting to head over towards the upper right, and seeing if it can obviously join up with these units, maybe get something done. So Bunny looking for some opportunity. Actually proxied the starport. Never really mentioned that, but never really came into play either. So not really a big deal. And as you do have the units just set up at the front, honestly, I mean, I don't feel like the Liberator is going to do much here. I mean, if it sieges up, it's just going to get targeted by Marines and see. Never mind that. The Viking in the sky is chasing it down. Cyclone locks onto the Hellions, which pull away, and they do get out of lock-on range, so they're able to survive here. As we have time, continuing to press down into the center. Nice lock on again is going to get that Hellion kill. Again, very nicely done here as another Marine gets taken down. Liberator going to go all the way home. Doesn't really have a choice. It's so low on hit points. If it comes forwards, it's just going to get picked off immediately. But Time is pressing forwards and looking to try and, well, really apply some good pressure here. As you see, Cyclone locks on, does pick that Hellion up. So nicely done, as we do have the another Cyclone picked off as well. Well, bits of damage so far as, well, this is actually kind of nice, because obviously I think Bunny was in perhaps some trouble here with this push coming over. So killing off a couple of units already, that really helps. However, that said, we do have Time in a position where these, you know, few units, there is a tank in this, and the tank creates so much power in terms of how you can do this. You need to keep this tank away from the lock-ons. Medevac gets locked onto. Okay, no lock-ons on the tank. Tank should really siege up here, though. I mean, Marines can only last so long. The Liberator comes back into play, though, which means he will clean this up. That was actually a really beautiful defense by Bunny. Had everything in position and just sort of took it as he needed to. Very, very nicely done. As we do see those couple of Cyclones backing away over into the natural. Third command center of Time gets started here. So getting that going as we see a few Marines and a couple of tanks coming in. The Medevac got out alive, which is something at least from Time. I mean, losing this army doesn't put him behind per se, because he's actually already ahead a couple SCVs. He has that third base, and he's good on army supply. So Time is actually in a pretty nice position already. He's completely fine in this, actually. And as we see this Liberator coming up the right, going to head in towards the main. Let's see what he can... Let's see what he can do with this as this Liberator comes into the main base and gets sieged up. SCVs have to pull away pretty much instantly here. And you will get a couple of kills, but obviously the Vikings on top of this pretty fast. And at this point, you just have to give up the Liberator. It's not going to do much more. You're not going to be able to unsiege it and re-siege it elsewhere. That Viking is going to get the kill. Not sure why Time lands his Viking afterwards. Maybe afraid that a Viking's going to show up with his opponent or something. Yeah, not really sure what that's about. Two tanks is going to be setting up just on the third base, as we are going to be seeing Cyclone and a Viking coming all the way back down to the bottom left-hand side. With the first two Medevacs popping out here, we're getting into that kind of bio style now from both players, but again, Time's got all of the advantages in this. He's got 1-1 versus +1, and it's faster for Time as well. He's got stim and combat shields on the way. That does mean he's on double tech lab rather than double reactor, which means there will be a few more Marines from Bunny, but obviously, while he has that Marine advantage, Time is pretty much going to have better Marines, because they're going to have combat shields and better upgrades as well anyways, so it actually doesn't matter all that much for Time. Is Bunny building his third base in location? He's already up by 8 workers, and for Time, he just needs to hold on against these attacks, not let Bunny kind of find his way into the game. We already see one Marine coming forwards here, going to get locked onto by a Cyclone, and Cyclone picks up the kill nice and quickly, no issue. Wouldn't mind casting from replay to secure a lag-free cast. I mean, hard to cast from replay when the games haven't been played. It's one of those things you're just gonna have to put up with. I know it sucks. There's really nothing I can do about it. As you see the tanks and Marines unloading over here. I mean, Time's going across the map to continue pressing forwards. He is happy to base trade this apparently, as he stands forwards to try and protect this tank, but the target fire is good. A couple of tanks of Bunny though are actually, well, pretty easily taken down, because the Marine's able to get on top of them right away. Just has a little bit of trouble getting rid of this last one, so he will start to clean this up. He scans in over here. He has a huge tank advantage Time. He should really put this towards the main base and just hop up into the main, I feel, rather than pushing the natural, because his own production, well, his own production's okay at the moment, but if he hops into the main, there's so much you could do, and I mean, there's this combat shields he could get rid of. Still just pressing forwards at the moment. This tank is now in range of the other tank there. Oh, he doesn't fire on it, though, somehow. Okay, now he does, and it is going to go down, that siege tank. There's a little bit of a volley back. There's one tank on the high ground actually in range as well, but there's no vision. So Time is going to start working his way through the natural command center here. He did keep his own third base alive. 39 workers each at the moment. These tanks obviously still in play are going to be huge with 4 tanks. I don't know if Bunny can actually break this. The Marines are going down very quickly. Tank sieges on the high ground, but there's just so many Marines left over. Time overruns Bunny. Wow. Time just absolutely overruns Bunny here, and Bunny does not have anything of an answer. You can see some units here from Bunny on the top side, going to be ready to flank in and try and clean up. Even if you clean up now as though it's just been such an expensive trade, it's still not going to be good for you in the long run. Gets out of here with one of the Medevacs with Marines inside, but again, 1-1 upgrade still done for Time. Bunny's not had the money to start a +1 armor. Third base from Bunny is down, but obviously now that essentially acts as his natural. Actually, no, he did keep this CC alive. Apologies. I forgot he pulled his SCVs in before then, but it's a 20 worker deficit, and Time has had, well, he's just been building up without issue for a little while, so he's already got a larger army ready to go again, ready to press forwards, and even if he can't hit the main of the natural, I mean, this third base here, this is very exposed. There is no way Bunny has the units to put a siege tank in position to defend this third base. And so if he can't defend that third, well, already, Time's going to maintain that advantage here. Alright, so Marines tanks coming down in the bottom left. A few Marines drop back into the main here. They were active earlier, but, well, I mean, you come straight in, you attack this third base. That's going to go down without issue. Bunny's just moving across the map. He just says, okay, well, let's play base trade again, but I mean, Time's going to have the upper hand. He's going to get into it much faster. He just has to keep his units in his main. He doesn't even need to be fancy. He doesn't need to protect the third base or anything. He's already taken down the natural here. He's already pushing up into this main base of his opponent, so he's going to get himself on top of the production very quickly and easily. And Bunny knows that actually, as he tried to drop into the main base, the medevacs got caught, and so that wasn't good. Alright, well, game number 2, guys. And maybe not the start we were expecting. Our blue Terran player in the bottom left is so good at TvT. We know that. We saw that at Home Story Cup. And we've seen that a lot in the past. But it doesn't look so hot today at the moment. It is Bunny. As the top right-hand side, our red Terran player is Time. Korea time is like +8 GMT. It's actually +9. So it's 9:21 PM in Korea right now. It's +8, yeah, it's always +9 GMT, so it's 8 hours ahead of, it's usually like 8 hours ahead of England in the summer, and it's 9 hours ahead in the winter because of the clocks and how they change. It's actually one of the, this is going to sound dumb, but it's one of the biggest issues I have in the world. It's like, when the clocks go back, the Korean clocks don't change, so suddenly I have to cast Korean StarCraft an hour early, and my whole sleep schedule. An hour doesn't seem like a lot, but it does make it a little bit tougher to come in and cast the Korean stuff. Naruto just said, I'm not casting the Korean stuff an hour earlier, so we will make them play at 9 PM instead of 8 PM. So here we are at 9 PM for Koreans for this tournament at the very least. Alright. Game number 2 at the moment is we have an SCV. Going to be dropping down this factory, getting this ready to go. Good to see so many of you already, guys. Obviously just going live not so long ago. We're up at 500, 600 viewers so far. Good stuff. Good stuff. Go, 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 Beyonce, says Bloody Poopy in the chat. Dropping down this command center first. Oh, not command center first, but fast command center. Reaper expand from Bunny. Going to put on a little less pressure as Time goes into that Rax factory like he did in the last game, which was what enabled him to win that micro war in the early stages. It's a pain in the ass with the time change. It's just one of those things. It's like, it doesn't feel like casting an hour earlier for Korean stuff should matter, right? But when my schedule for half a year revolves around the fact I never really have to do anything before midday, apart on the rare occasion, I kind of sleep so that I wake up and I kind of just come in to cast Korean content, right? So having to adjust like after half a year to like waking up at 11. And there's also things that I do at night where I do a lot of work at night and I stay up late doing work. And, you know, sometimes playing games. So suddenly I have to stop playing games like an hour earlier to go to bed early to wake up for Korean. I mean, it's really like a first world issue. Like, it really is a non-issue. But it's, you know, I gotta pick what I can complain about sometimes, so. Is Björn back in form? 47, dude, he absolutely killed his group in this tournament, so I would kind of say yes. It'll be exciting to see him taking on either Fantasy or Trap later on today. It should be a really, really cool match, so really looking forward to that. Again, we're not 100% sure what our match order is going to be between Innovation versus Solar and the Fantasy Trap Beyond matches. I think we might just do, obviously we're going to do Bunny versus Time, then the winner versus Cure, get that section of the bracket done with, have our first player into the global finals. But on the other side of things, I'm kind of thinking maybe we do Innovation Solo as our third series, then we do Trap Fantasy winner versus Beyond at the end of the day. Alright. Medevac hops up. you see a bit of time coming across down towards the bottom left as we see a few Marines just taking some damage here. Some Marines taking some shots. Tank will siege up in an SCV. Taking some hits as well. Raven just hanging out and seeing what's going on as we see the orbital command taking quite a few hits. Interference Matrix going to drop on the siege tank there. As you see the Raven. Obviously a big part of this defense. Marines starting to go down, SCV's starting to go down, but this is a cleanup, and of course, at this stage, Bunny lost a few workers, yes, but he was on a much faster expand, and his third CC is already halfway done. So he's actually kind of okay here to have lost a few workers. This was an attack from time that needed to do some damage, and, well, it did do some damage. So good job, well done there, as we do see this medevac pulling back up to the upper right-hand side. It's going to be setting up in this natural expansion. And as we see, 2 racks coming down on each side of the map. Going into the bio play once more. But this time it's going to be a little bit more of an even situation. I would even say that while Time is a little bit behind, he's still closer in the game than Bunny was when they went into bio last time. I mean, you could just see how far Time ahead was by the fact he had that stim in combat so much faster and stuff like that. Marines, medevac, getting, well, maneuvering around in the main base. Tank gets sieged up. A nice shot there onto that Cyclone, so that wasn't all so bad. Nice little connection. I like it. Skim coming down on each side of the map. A couple of extra racks getting thrown down as well, and a couple of reactors also coming into play. 2 Vikings are just coming in from Bunny here, and with these few Marines and another tank. I wonder if Bunny looks as though, feels as though he can actually get some damage done. His Raven is just hanging out, just chilling kind of on this top side. A little bit out of, in the middle of nowhere, really. I don't think Bunny has enough to really do anything. I mean, we've got 2 tanks here, we've got a few Marines. I think it's plenty to be able to deal with any of this as Bunny continues to come in towards the upper right. Ooh, Interference Matrix on the Cyclone, on the Raven obviously makes a lot of sense, but the Cyclone can't stay locked on. Tank shot fires and does grab a few Marines of this early. And as you see, nice little bit of a cleanup there. And here we go, Temple tanks up on the high ground. Going to get pushed away. Cyclone locking on again here. And it is going to be pushing this siege tank all the way back, actually. Marines have stim suddenly, so actually Time is able to press further forwards, and Bunny is losing out quite heavily in terms of what he has. So all of a sudden, Bunny is just lost all of his tanks. And Time pushes us away with ease. Bunny was just not expecting that stim to be done a few seconds earlier than his own. Bunny caught off guard. But again, it's trades which are kind of keeping the game in just an even space. 57 SCVs a piece or so. Army supplies pretty even as well. It's all pretty good right now as we do see this medevac of Bunny just boosting across over the right side. These few medevacs up in the top from Time are going to be coming down to the bottom left as well, as another SCV getting nipped down there. Combat shields get started up from Time also. I guess Time will be a little bit behind on combat shields. This is a drop that will not be successful. First medevac goes down. Interference Matrix and another 2. Oh my god, these are 2 dead medevac. Oh my god, no. Time! Oh, how 2 Vikings and a Raven can just completely ruin your day. Only 1 siege tank drops out of here, and I mean the Vikings and the Cyclone combined, that goes down so quickly. Oh, Time just lost like 20 plus supply of important units. I mean, 3 medevacs, 2 tanks. Obviously Marines are always going to be, Marines are more replaceable, but you know, obviously losing them for free obviously doesn't help. This was a disaster for Time, really not what he needed here. And Bunny is now with Marines and tanks moving back out into the center of the map. And Bunny looks as though he might be able to try and bring this up to a 1-1 scoreline. Looking to tie things up here in this best of 5 series today. First of 5 best of 5s. How exciting is that, guys? I know, very exciting. Cyclone's going to lock on either side of this. You see those tanks sieging up, and, well, more tanks getting sieged up on the high ground at the moment. Starting to do quite a little bit of damage. Marines pressing in from Bunny. Starting to get a little bit done as well here. So, we're already picking up a few SCVs. 4 SCVs down so far in total. Now there's Marines pulling back a little bit further. The Vikings coming in, and here we go. SCVs and Marines just going to run all the way forwards. Siege tanks going down very quickly. As you see the Typhoon tanks in some trouble. GG is called, and that's going to be Bunny able to take game number. Start up to the bottom right-hand side with the red Terran player. My friends, this is time. And to the top left, our blue Terran is going to be Bunny. Proxy 2-Rax comes in from time on the top left, going to open with the 2-Rax Reaper here. That single SCV just having a little bit of a nibble as we get things underway in these early stages. Ooh, he actually loses the SCV. That's really not good. Bunny just comes in and scouts this almost instantly, almost to the point where I feel like maybe time should just... Oh my god, he needs to finish one barracks. Please finish one barracks. Okay, one barracks finished means he can just go Reaper. The second Rax probably will not finish here, and we'll just cancel it and probably go in towards like a factory or so back at home. So Bunny finding the barracks there quite quickly, as we do see now a factory dropping down from Bunny in the main base. GG already? I wouldn't say it's GG already. Obviously it's not great from time, right? Like, this was not exactly his plan, but there is a follow-up from this, right? Where, you know, he cancelled the second rack, so he didn't lose too much there. Yes, he's a little bit behind, definitely, but I wouldn't say the game is over, so... sorry, Reapers are having a little bit of a skirmish here. Just making sure other matches are being played okay, guys. Sorry, again, admin work, multitasking. Aye, aye, aye. Rax flying down to the bottom right-hand side. Again, just one single Reaper, nothing crazy from time. Then he will be messing Reaper production, which kind of does make it a bit difficult for him. He will throw down Tech Lab on the factory. I like it. I think you just need to go into this ASAP now, because trying to go in towards Hellions, you're just going to lose the fights with the fact your opponent has more Reapers than you. With the Cyclone, at least you can play defensively. It can also keep you safe against, you know, counter-attacks and so on. The Starport proxies by Bunny is a very common response to 2-Rax Reaper, and of course he proxied in the first game as well. Just try and get that Liberator into the main as soon as possible. So there's that Reaper hopping up into the main base just now, and obviously time just going to have a little bit more of a look around. Grenade goes down to pop a few SCVs just around the place. Hellion popping out. It's a nice little bit of info still. Knows that Hellions are still being produced, for example. And again, as soon as the Cyclone's up, he can defend this a lot more easily. Reapers hop up into the main, and they will get locked onto. He loses vision. Nope, he had it for long enough thanks to the supply depot. So keeping that vision, gets a Reaper kill. And his own command center on the way up in the main base, but he's actually going to be able to get 2 SCVs on this side of the map, so Time's actually making something happen with this Reaper. Obviously has the escape path over here as well, so the Reaper stays alive. Then again, maybe not for long, because Hellion and 2 more Reapers are looking to try and hunt it down. Alright, 2 SCVs going down there, a couple of Marines on the way up. You see this Liberator going to head into the main, and going to get itself sieged. Heal goes down, a couple of SCVs going to be dropping. There's again, a couple of Hellions, a couple of Reapers coming down to the bottom of the map. Cyclone and a couple of Marines on the way as well, so obviously Bunny wants to try and keep on applying the pressure here. So trying to see what he can do with this. Again, 2 Hellions and a couple of Reapers. It feels like there is some real potential for this to get something done. CC gets taken for time, so now he has to hold the low ground. Siege tank coming out will help a lot unless these units can dive on top of it, but the fact it's already sieged, that really will help quite a bit. A couple of Reapers hopping up into the main base. Cyclone locks on and is going to be able to get rid of the first Reaper here, and the other one should go down too. At the same time, though, a dive onto the siege tank here, but repair comes down and will keep it alive. The Cyclone is going to fall. Nice defense by time. That repair was clutch, needed. You do not want to lose the siege tank, especially when you've fallen behind a little bit early game. This Liberator that came out, by the way, never really got much done either, so That was a good shutdown by Time. He just used his Cyclone effectively. And, well, now we do have +1 attack on the way on the engineering base. So getting this going, Stim back again about halfway done as well, and Refinery dropping into the natural. All of this is still getting set up here as we look to see just what's going to be next. Looks like Bunny's going to go for a bit of attack, but after his losing his units earlier, obviously doesn't necessarily seem as though it's going to be the safest of trips across the map or anything. Two tanks, Marines, and a Raven. Just setting up here in the natural expansion, all gathered together. There's another siege tank going to come forwards, and it's going to be getting ready to go. So, a few tanks, Marines, Raven coming out, and well, both sides of the map, both players getting aggressive. That scan though actually sees some units loading into the medevac, so that is quite nice. We see Bunny here moving around as well. A few Marines and a couple of tanks wanting to try and see what they can get done. I'm starting to press forward. See the tanks spreading out, and I'm going to get sieged on this right-hand side. Boom. Big shot on the Marine there. Alright, well. Again, tanks, Marines, medevacs pushing forwards. Big stim as we see it push in towards the natural expansion. Another couple of tanks getting sieged up. The order turret's trying to come down. Loses one Raven before a lot of them can drop, though. This is a very good position for Bunny because he can just sit kind of between the natural and the third, and this area here is a big danger zone now for him to move into. Obviously he's going to start losing time his refinery. Some of these SCVs are going to be in some trouble as well. It's going to be maybe a little bit problematic. The tank trying to come around the other side, having a bit of a rough time of it. And Time has to think about how he wants to engage this. No combat shields either. Bunny's about to hit combat shields, so that's going to help him out a bunch as well as he sends some Marines across the map, just stimming over to try and get here ASAP to help out. 7 SCVs lost so far. Time, having lost the depot as well, was supply blocked for just a little bit. These few Marines continue to come forwards as we do see again Marines and a Cyclone coming around the right, maybe thinking about jumping in. There isn't a lot of Marines here though. I feel like you could maybe just jump on it by now, especially if you have such a surround. The other tank goes down for Time. He's just bleeding units as, well, quite literally as time passes by. It's not getting any better for the guy. Just going to be seeing the Marines with combat chills there as well. That's going to be kind of a big deal. Maybe Time waits for 1-1. Maybe that's his plan. It is his plan. He wants to go into this with 1-1 upgrades. SCVs pull forwards too. Well, he is going to clean it up, obviously, from coming in a couple different angles. And the extra Marines here from Bunny were just a little bit too late. So Time will defend, but down massively in army supply. This isn't pretty. 2 tanks siege on the right-hand side as well. Bunny able to keep up the pressure as we see some more SCVs going down as well. So a good job being done so far. He's going to be seeing a tank from Time trying to hold the position, but again, the position's already taken, right? And that means the Marines have to commit forwards. Time comes into this, but it's just going to be a massacre. He will kill a single siege tank, and that will be all. His third base will still be under fire, and Bunny is starting to show us just who the real king of TvT is right now. After a shaky game 1, Bunny has looked good ever since, and now he takes the lead. This. Bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran, who is down in this best of 5. It's Time. Up against the red Terran top left, Bunny taking the lead in the series. And Time's going to open with the proxy racks once again. Alright, so 2 racks going to come down here. 1 racks, 2 racks. Nicely done. Just going to get those rallied up towards the upper left corner here, so get that set, get that ready. This time around, obviously, Bunny doesn't see this right away. He doesn't find it with the SCVs, so as he comes across, he's going to be popping up in towards the main base, and obviously he will see the lack of a Rax, but this time Time's actually allowed to get up to his 2 Reapers, so this is going to help him quite a bit, as that first Reaper here of Bunny is just about to pop out. Now, Bunny's going to throw down 2 bunkers, covering both different positions on his main base right away. He's even going to start making this a bit of a wall up, so if the Reapers jump up here, I guess the idea will be to depot up here as well, so they're basically stuck in this area, or at least have to run this way, which is more into the center of the base, which makes it a bit easier to defend perhaps. There's a few different ways that this could work out as the first Reaper comes up, and we'll just go for that SCV build in the bunker, but only until he starts to take some damage. Then he has to be a little bit more careful. SCV jumps up into the bunker. We are going to be seeing the 2 Reapers gathering up in the natural expansion, so they are going to try and see what they can do as they hop up into towards the main base. Single Reaper in there from Bunny is able to push that back without too much difficulty. On the bottom side, this SCV scout around comes in. Rax going to lift off, so obviously finds this. And Time's just getting ready to transition out of this. Going to use this Rax to go back home. The other Rax will come forwards for high ground vision. Actually sends a Reaper backwards and kind of back home as well. Looking for the SCV that I guess he saw. Maybe looking for the proxy starport, which he expects to be coming down shortly. I mean, every game there has been a proxy starport from Bunny, apart from that game number 2. So 2 out of 3 games, proxy starport. Definitely worth checking for one again now, right? Again, Rax just been used for the high ground vision. Obviously, the kind of whole point of this from Time is, yes, obviously it's not done like masses of damage or anything crazy. This SCV survives, by the way. But he's going to be able to expand on the low ground himself. He's forced, obviously, a bit of a reaction from Bunny, and while there's no real damage taken, the T-Rex Reaper is a build where you can transition out of it pretty comfortably for the most part. Two Marines pushing that Rax down into the center of the map again. The few Reapers coming up the right-hand side, and, well, Time... One of the weaknesses for him will be the fact that obviously his factory was later this game, so in terms of real fighting units, he's going to be down a little bit as that Cyclone locks onto the barracks, and he's going to be able to push that away into the center of the map. So Rax being pushed away into the middle. He's taking a hell of a lot of damage there, finally going down. And meanwhile, Raven on the way up, about halfway done that Raven. And as the Reaper pops up there as well, back up into this natural expansion, with the orbital moving down to the natural as well. Reapers and a Cyclone coming in here, and we do see that Hellion. A little bit of trouble right away. Ooh, Cyclone gets popped forwards by the grenades. The Cyclone will fall. So Cyclone going down. That's nice positioning there by Bunny. Good response as Time tries to get aggressive, but unable to find any success with that at the moment. A little bit unfortunate. Raven coming up on each side of the map. Reapers coming in. Getting the kill there. We see the Hellion getting quite a bit of damage as well. Cyclone locking on, and those two Reapers now going down as well. This is worrying because Time doesn't really have a lot to defend with back at home. You know, you look at this, he really doesn't have much at all, does he? And he's got a tank, and I mean, it's really down to this siege tank. But then there's the Raven, you interference matrix that tank, and then there's not really much else at all. Already at the moment, just out of range of the tank, the Cyclones will lock on. Cyclone already takes quite a lot of damage on the other side. Again, Raven just needs to get forwards for long enough to drop the interference matrix. Here we go. No, he drops the auto turret. He drops an auto turret from in response time. Okay, well, I really thought the matrix, and then you can just push on in, but maybe just couldn't get close enough to cast that, which could explain the situation. These two refineries coming up on the natural. We see the siege tank moving around a little bit as well. Just going to get sieged up and kind of wait out at the moment as we see a command center from Bunny drops down on the third base. So Bunny, happy with his push, going to fall back and go from here, but I mean, Time does have the faster third CC, so after being really in danger on that attack, I really thought he was just going to die. He survives and he gets through to a stage now where he can put his third CC into play, make use of this here, and maybe really find himself back in this game. I think it's a real good possibility. Starport comes down, going to drop the reactor. And we do see extra racks still coming up. It's going to be 5 racks in total in a moment. As that Cyclone, again, coming out the front. And just heading across towards the upper left-hand side. Two more medevacs coming out of the main. As you do see Marines, tanks, Raven, and a Cyclone. All of this gathering up together. That third CC going to finish in a moment. So that's going to be done very shortly here. As we have this Cyclone still just moving around, trying to see what's up and what's going on. Nice pick up there. Obviously means that neither of the Cyclones go down. Looks for the return lock on. Cyclone for Cyclone. Obviously not really good or bad for either side. I guess maybe bad for Time, who has less units anyways, so everything he can have is kind of useful. Raven has a bit more energy from Bunny as well. It's just all these little advantages Bunny has, looking for a larger fight here. Two medevacs and the Raven coming all the way over to the right side. Two more medevacs loading up and boosting across. Scan drops onto the third base. Just do have these few Marines continue to unload. Well, tank's going to get sieged up and Marines are going to start pressing forwards. Oh, nice interference matrix actually. Dropping down on both of those tanks there. The rest of these Marines going to be pressing in as well and actually trying to get them a lot done, but not having much success at the moment. The tanks though from Time do get a good shot off. Time has the extra Marines and he will win the tank war as well. Time wins this fight and he holds on for a little bit longer. Very nicely done. Medevac's loading up and coming down to the bottom. Marines and tanks pressing forwards here from Time as well. Through the center of the map up to the top. They're going to come and push in towards this third base shortly perhaps. Again, those medevacs coming over. They're going to try and drop into the main. So they're going to get ready to unload. So they're going to unload here. Tanks trying to see what they can do. Obviously this turns into a bit of a base raid situation. We saw Time deal with the base raid pretty well earlier. He does have his initial tank in position. SCV's pulling in as well. It's about getting rid of as much as you can to slow down the counter. Time kind of feels like he's doing okay, but obviously there's still some units in his main, which he's slowly going to be able to defend. There's only a couple of Marines left in this one tank. When he gets rid of that, that's brilliant, but he needs to try and hold on. He does have 3 tanks, and that's the difference. Again, it happened in an earlier game too. Time has the extra tanks across the map, and it does so much for him. GG's. Time goes up and takes it to. Let's do this. Bottom right-hand side, go into Game 5. Our Red Town player who scraped through his group. This is Time. Up against the Blue Terran to the top left-hand side. We have ourselves from Team Blazer. It's Bunny. Alright, so Game 5 of the series. I don't even know what to say. I mean, Time's really brought it to Bunny today, and again, he barely scraped through his group. Now he's taking it to a Game 5. Even if he doesn't win here, it's been a hell of a performance. It's crazy because I know a lot of people are very excited to see Bunny versus Cure, but obviously a little bit of an issue. It's just crazy, isn't it? I'm just trying to get it through my head, like, It's just crazy. Here he is, game 5, Bunny versus Heroes. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, we're gonna get it. And now Time is like, no, I don't think you will. Alright. Block that deeper for a few moments with the SCV, just being a little bit. I want to see Time versus Kira. I'm sure a lot of people want to see Time versus Kira as well. I think it's just a bit of a meme that Kira versus Bunny just keeps not happening or something. We're just going to be coming through here and actually looking for some SCV kills perhaps. Gets the SCV going to build and we'll get the Reaper kill as well. It means he gets another SCV. Okay, loses his own Reaper, but that's 2 SCVs bonus. Very, very nicely done. As the Reaper of Bunny will start to make its way down to the bottom right-hand side of the map. So, Reaper of Bunny making its way down to the bottom right. Meanwhile, here we've got a couple of Hellions on the way out. A couple more Marines being made as well. And this one Reaper doesn't actually have much to counter at the moment, but Time obviously takes a bit of a lead with that faster expansion now after his delay and also being a couple of workers ahead. So, very nicely done. Two Marines from Time on the way up here as we see another Hellion coming through the center. Hellion getting quite a lot of damage. Couple of Marines coming in too. Starport drops in from Bunny, finishing up in the main base. It's a pretty regular setup then from both players. Starports on their own sides of the map. Time goes straight into a Raven. We haven't really seen anything overly aggressive at all from either player, right? Like, it's just been Ravens and this and like setting up for then bigger pushes. Like, we haven't seen any Cloak Banshee play or anything along those lines. As you see this Raven from Bunny getting started here on the Starport. So it's going to be a Raven apiece to get going. Hellion's causing a little bit of chaos here. That one Hellion of Time is low. Has to be very careful with it as he's trying to push this back with mostly just the Marines. As he pushes it down to the low ground, the high ground obviously helps a lot. We'll just spread out, expecting maybe Bunny to come up from a different direction. He doesn't though, so a little bit of an unfortunate moment there. Man, this Hellion is still alive from Time. I have no idea how. This is some real good back and forth. And Bunny obviously gaining a lot from it, getting a good few Marines. As the game goes by, unless you're playing mech, obviously the Hellions do not have as much of an impact on the game. But obviously, as you know, if you're Time, then you know, Marines do have a bit more of an impact. So the more Marines you lose out on for Hellions is obviously a little bit of a frustration. Cycling the Marines from Bunny coming down to the bottom, or through the center. Raven on its way down the left-hand side as well. And then pops up and just going to be picking its way through an SCV or so. Again, dealing just a little bit of damage here. I like it. Time able to get some counter-aggression going with a tank for himself to defend. His own Raven too. He feels as though he's kind of okay in this. He's not really. I mean, maybe there's some potential for like a Cyclone to lock on here. Is maybe the most annoying thing that could happen right now. Ooh, interference Matrix on the Ravens. Solar turret goes down. He's going to eat a couple of tank shots, but that Cyclone lock on is huge. And Bunny is going to end up losing his Ravens. So this game gets from, you know, goes from kind of bad for Bunny to worse. As Bunny is down by 4 workers. This is not pretty. This is really not pretty. Hellion comes up, just going to sit underneath that Raven now. Cyclone joining in as well. Stimpak from both players. And these TvTs have really been going down a similar route if these players get to the mid-game in even positions, which is they tend to end up in these base trading scenarios, not with massive armies, not maxing out, but basically kind of around the time 1-1 finishes. The players kind of avoid each other, begin to base trade, and it seems to kind of keep going the way of Time. The game's Bunny has won as the games has gotten ahead in very early. And being able to... Well, I say that. He didn't get ahead in Automaton, did he? No, it was a Time win, no. Yeah, I feel like every game Bunny won is the games he just got ahead in early and kind of played it out from there. Vikings, Ravens pushing forwards at the moment. And we do see this army of Bunny is... well, trying to get in position. I don't know what exactly is expected here out of the army of Time because... well, he doesn't land his Vikings. His Raven got targeted down very quickly. He lands his Vikings now. A little bit late, isn't it? As Bunny's just going to crush his way through the majority of this. There's one final tank. Doesn't have high ground vision. Lifts back up into the sky. He shoots down the Raven. Time lost one of his Ravens without being able to drop enough without being able to drop any of his real auto turrets or anything. It took him a little bit too long. As you do see those, he was just going to gather up time, moving out to a third CC. But Bunny already has his landed and morphed into an orbital, so this game takes a turn once again. Time will have the 1-1 upgrades. So with the 1-1 upgrades, Time will of course have some openings as the game passes by. Simpact's even on both sides. Combat shields will come up next of course as well. Time just going into his extra racks now, 4th and 5th on the way. In terms of Bunny, his 4th and 5th racks also coming up at pretty much the same time here, so again, across the map, pretty similar timings. As you're going to see the tanks loading into medevacs from Bunny, so you can drop them and get them positioned very quickly if required. See how it goes. As the units coming forward through the center at the moment. Single Marine from Time. Going to push up towards the upper side, coming into the center. A couple of Marines of Bunny getting a kill there nice and quick. Bunny stims down the right side and is going to come towards this natural expansion here, where we do see again the tanks. They can unload over here and while sieging up an engineering bay. That alone is very powerful. Time sieges up a couple of tanks as well. 8 Marines and 2 tanks going to move forwards into the center, and to the right hand side we have ourselves 4 tanks set up as well. There's a couple of Vikings also getting ready to go. The Marines gathering up still. Another scan coming down. It feels like Time might be in some trouble. He's going into a lot of Vikings, by the way. So he wants to try and take air control, but I don't know if he's just too far behind on the Marine count for that to matter, because, you know, air control is nice and all, but if you just get overrun on the Marines, that's really going to hurt. Starts to unload these tanks instantly. And obviously, again, the air control is nice, but the Marine count pushes them back for the moment. The Liberator is not going to matter if those Marines can get underneath. And those tanks are going to do a very good job of just zoning the units coming into from Time to defend this. There's that Liberator, sieges up, but just goes down. Now the Marine count's starting to drop now as the Vikings will just land. Time will target down what he can. Extra Marines coming in though from Bunny, which means that those Vikings don't last very long. Pulls back now as the SCVs start to pull forwards, and Bunny is pushing himself into a lead. 139 to 111 supply at the moment. Lifts up another few units here. Another scan coming down from Time. Units unloading, getting ready to go. Tanks in range. Denies the +2 attack upgrade. So that's already a big win for him as Vikings coming in for medevac. I mean, Bunny is losing a lot of his medevacs, so Vikings have done something, but again, does it matter? And as we see the Marines being cleaned up in the natural for the moment, but obviously these tanks are not going anywhere anytime soon. 2 siege tanks though will cause some issues in terms of maybe pushing further forward, so Bunny might have to relocate, come in from a different direction. Right now, he can't really advance any further forwards. To put these tanks further forwards, he has to move these tanks forwards. Then they're going to take damage from these tanks, and it's just going to become a very, very poor trade for him. Medevac gets very low here and will just escape out, dropping a few Marines as sacrifice. There's the unsiege, so Bunny going to pull back and relocate. And it's coming out into the center of the map and going to try and push in towards the third here. Obviously, it's not an open area per se, but it's a bit more open than obviously just trying to push up through this direction. So maybe some possibility. Obviously, from here as well, you can very quickly swing around to this direction. And maybe that'll be the opportunity that Bunny tries to seize us. Here we go. I mean, the Liberator is sieging up. Not sure how much they'll really achieve as the Marines are just going to be overwhelming. +2 is finishing up from Bunny now as well. It's kind of towards the end of the fight, but it's just something that will help him out. Unfortunately, Time will not be able to make this happen.